Rider of the Apocalypse destroyed the Earth before its appointed hour. Or so it was claimed.
You have defiled the law, horseman.
To spare his brother from oblivion, the second horseman rode forth. And his name was Death.
We're here at THQ at Gamescom, and we are just trying to find out a little bit more about Darksiders II. The first game which I played was something of a sleeper hit and very popular, and it sort of melded the American graphic novel with sort of a Zelda-esque sort of gameplay. What are you trying to change up for the sequel?
Well, so we're trying to keep, first off, that same blend of, like you say, exploration, puzzle solving, combat that everybody really liked about the first game. But what we're doing now is expanding it, making the game larger and deeper. And how we're doing that is we're going a little deeper with the RPG elements. There's a loot system now, so every enemy you kill drop gold or items, and you can upgrade your armor, your weapons, get new weapons. And we're also really expanding the storyline. There's a lot more NPCs. I always joke that, in the first game, War, there was like 3 guys he talked to and 2 of them he killed. So in this game, there's a lot more interaction between characters. You can even get side missions by talking with characters. And secondly, since this game takes place in the underworld, the Abyss, not on Earth, and it happens at the same time as a War's adventure, but being not on Earth kind of set our artists' chains free, so they can create a lot more fantasy, epic, interesting, crazy creatures for you to meet and fight against.
Yeah, because that would be my second question. That's how do you do a post-apocalyptic game?
Yeah, there can only be one apocalypse, right? So what we did is it takes place at the same time. So, War got accused of causing the apocalypse. Heaven and Hell went after him on Earth. What's happening in Darksiders 2 is Death finds out that the apocalypse happened and that War is to blame. And he knows his brother couldn't do that, and he also knows that War is too honorable to try and solve it other than with his sword. So Death works behind the scenes in the underworld, talking to some shady characters and just doing whatever it takes to clear his brother's name.
So in terms of, it was a very popular game, but was there any areas where you got feedback where you said, like, all right, these are things that we might want to do differently this time around?
Yeah, 2 big things that people, gave us feedback on and were like, you're right. So number 1, in the first game, you didn't get War's horse Ruin until, a third of the way through the game. This time, Death's horse Despair, you get pretty much right away in the game. And we did that, 1, because everybody wants to ride a horse, and you are a horseman of the apocalypse after all, so you should get to have a horse. But number 2, the world's much larger, so we knew you'd need to travel and traverse around a lot easier and quicker, so we would give you Despair right away. Number 2, a lot of people said, there's items you can't get to right away, so you do have to backtrack sometimes, and that's part of the game experience. But the dungeons were so big that everybody was like, it takes forever for me to go back and get the item. So even though there's more dungeon area and more to explore, every dungeon is smaller. So if you do go back, it'll be a much quicker experience. You won't have to travel through a lot of tunnels to find that 1 or 2 items you're looking for.
So it's like designed in a different way to sort of, you're still backtracking, but it's going to be easier to backtrack if you know what you're looking for.
Right, exactly. If there's that one chest up on a ledge that you remember from 3 levels ago, you don't have to. You'll never think, I have to go back all the way. You'll be like, I'll just pop back there. There it is. Get it. On with the adventure.
So what do you feel that, because there's not a lot of competition in this genre really, because no one really puts up a challenge to sort of Nintendo and what you'd expect. So is that you feel that is really what Darksiders sort of avoid, that no one really wanted to challenge?
Yeah, I think, well, number 1, we always like to say, like, the reason there's not more games like that is it's not easy. Because creating that perfect balance and teaching people along the way and doing that tutorial method takes time to build that. So, but yeah, it's a great niche or area that we fill, and we feel we're really unique. And like you say, and like a lot of people say, compare it to Zelda or other games, and that's fair enough, because when a game's new, you have to, you ask me what the game's like, and you're going to tell me it's like this or this. But our dream now is after Darksiders 2 comes out, and maybe a year or so after Darksiders 2 is out, someone will say, well, what's that game like? And they'll say, it's like Darksiders. And then we'll know we've arrived.
All right. So the team that did the first game, they return. Is it still the same guys? Like Joe is still working on the art and then the characters and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's really, I mean, almost all the same guys as on the first team. But the advantage this time is with the first game, we're just completed the engine, trying to figure out what the game was, get everything together, and then start designing. This time, since we had such a clear picture of what Darksiders is, the team got to kind of hit the ground running and just create. So that allows us to make, like I was saying, just a bigger and richer game than the first one.
You're just starting to show the game, but sort of where's the timeline and when we will get to see the full game?
All right. Well, I'm not sure exactly when you'll get to see the full game, but I'll tell you a secret. We're working on the next thing that we want to show, and we're trying to make it even bigger and more epic and impressive than what we've shown already, because it's an impressive game and we want people to see it in its all its glory.
All right, thank you very much for your time.